Here's a good story. I was sued for trademark infringement. It wasn't called Foundr. The magazine was originally called Key to Success. We had the Success logo and then Key to in the middle, but we had Neil Patel on the front cover and he covered the Key to. You can guess who sued us. And I get this letter in the mail from Success magazine that they're suing me for trademark infringement.
All right, guys, Digital Social Hour. We got Nathan Chan here from Australia. I think you might be the first guest I've had from Australia, man.
Really? There you go.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for representing Austin. I've been there, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
What were you doing there?
Went with my mom just on vacation, but I went to Sydney and Melbourne and got to pet a kangaroo.
Oh, there you go.
And eat one.
Oh yeah, man. High source of protein.
Yeah, it actually tasted pretty good.
It tastes like chicken.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them. So you kind of have to eat them out there because there's so many of them.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Do they just like pull up to your house there? How common are they? Are they like deer?
No, not as common as deer. But look, like where I grew up in the suburbs, not like I'm from Melbourne, grew up in the suburbs and like we there's like a lot of nature, a lot of land where we are. And like I can drive out, close to my parents' place and you can see them like a lot. But no, not that common.
They're pretty peaceful though, for the most part, right?
Yeah. It's funny. You see all these memes online where people are like fighting and boxing with kangaroos and stuff. But look, if you walk towards them, they'll jump
That's
away.
Funny, man.
Yeah.
Were you always pretty entrepreneurial in Australia? Because it's not as advanced as the US, right?
No. So when I started Foundr, I had absolutely no network. My mum was a nurse. My dad was a teacher. I didn't know anybody really that started a business or started an online business. I heard about stories from friends of friends. But man, like Australia is not like, look, we have companies like Canva, like Atlassian, massive startups, but like it's just not the same as America, right? Like the mindset, the mentality. We have something called tall poppy syndrome. Have you heard of that?
No, what is that?
Well, basically it's where for whatever reason, culturally, you're often put down or looked down upon if you want to achieve, you want to do great things, you want to build something massive, or build something big in yourself. Yeah.
Whoa, tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. So growing up, you were kind of ashamed to be an entrepreneur then?
Well, here's the thing, man. I used to, just sell things at school. Like, you remember you could burn DVDs, right? Sell PlayStation games. I used to do all sorts of things like that. But, look, I didn't think I'd become an entrepreneur. I just kind of fell into it.
I think it's something you're kind of born with and molded early on in your life.
Yeah, look, it depends. So for me, I always was trying to get ahead. I was always like, a bit of a hustler. But, nah, man, like, honestly, I never thought I'd be here. I started Foundr purely from I just wanted to do work I enjoy. Like life is too short to not do work you don't enjoy. And look, I know you've had these experiences. Like you've had, you used to be in e-com, right? And then you moved to podcasting. You love it so much, right? Like, so for me, I started Foundr purely out of the desire to find work that I enjoy. Like that's how it started. Like I started to interview people, no one in my network, no one used to get back to me. And I was just having fun and I created this magazine and like what I found was like the stories that because I started Foundr 10 years ago. What I found was the stories were so amazing, like interviewing these people. I had to share it with the world. And I started to put out this magazine. 4 months later, I got an interview with Richard Branson and then the thing kind of spiraled. But dude, I was taking Foundr, the digital magazine, to job interviews. Like
really?
Not thinking it was going to be something. So I just kind of fell into entrepreneurialism, fell into like entrepreneurship.
Wow. And it was one of the biggest, if not the biggest magazines in Australia, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, the brand, we've got Forbes, Fast Company, Entrepreneur, Inc. magazine, and Foundr is like one of the top magazines in the space now. We're a global leading brand. We're not as big as I'd like us to be. We're not as well known as I'd like us to be, but we're certainly getting there. Like, if you ask a founder, more times than not, someone would know the brand.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely recognizable. You do well with the magazine covers. I can even physically visualize the Damon John one and a few other ones.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, hats off to you. So
Thanks,
with
man.
Foundr Plus, is that the pivot away? Because I know the magazine space is hurting right now, right?
Well, look, it got to a point where we just use the magazine as lead gen, right? Like the magazine is awesome, so we just give it away for free, right? It's like an incredible, incredible magazine that you get. Actually, over 100 editions now, all digitally, like through our platform. We just give it away for free. It's awesome. And then our real focus is now building our membership site, because what I found was I started to interview all these awesome founders like yourself, right? But we're really niche focused on entrepreneurship, starting, growing a business. And what happened was a lot of people started to ask in the community, hey, how can I learn more from this person? Hey, I love that this person talked about sales, but like I want to get more from it. And so what I started to do was like, how could I get these people to teach? How could I get these really awesome founders that have actually done it to get them to teach on a platform? Because the course space is massive now. Everyone's selling a course, it seems, right? And I thought, what if I could go out and I could find these awesome founders that we're already speaking to, we're already interviewing, telling their story. We know that people love them. Perhaps they just want to focus on building their business instead of actually selling like courses and stuff like that. And what if we partner with them and get them to teach on our platform? So kind of like a masterclass for entrepreneurship. And I launched that officially a couple of years ago, but really going all in there.
Nice.
It's been a journey, man, but it's been awesome.
I love it, man. Yeah, I think you interviewed me for one of those, right?
We interviewed you for one of our events, one of our summits. Yeah, we go to a lot of live.
Got it. Yeah, that was an AI event, right?
Yeah.
You were on the forefront of that too, which is great. It seems like you're very on top of things, on top of trends.
Oh, look, I like the only way you do this stuff and get ahead of trends is just spend time in the space, see where people are going, see what's moving. Like, membership space is massive now. Like with
School's crushing it.
Yeah, School and Hormozy. Like, it seems now that a lot of people that are selling online education, digital products, they'll want to move to the membership model.
Yeah.
I was working on that a couple of years ago, and it's not as easy as people think.
It's not. Payment processing's hard in that space. A lot of headaches. But if you could build up an MRR, it helps the company valuation a lot.
Yeah, for sure. But for us, I started to set, like for Foundr, we had single courses, right? And, Damon Johns taught a course, or Joe DeCina, the guy that he founded, he purchased Tough Mudder and he founded Spartan. Like,
wow.
It's like really cool founders. We get them to teach, give back. And we were just doing single courses. But what we found was we were doing a disservice to our community and our customers. And a lot of people started asking once again, hey, I've bought like 3 or 4 of your programs. Why can't I get this in a subscription? And that's how it naturally happens.
Smart.
So it wasn't for us like, I wanted to create a membership. It started with, hey, how can we get these awesome founders, legit founders that are actually doing it, that actually like their business is building the thing that they're teaching, like they're doing e-com or they're building an agency or they're building a SaaS business. That's their thing. They're not going out and teaching. And perhaps they want to give back, and we have a platform where you can give back. And that started, and we started to do single courses, and then eventually got to a point where it's just like, we have so many programs, like why not just package it up and turn it into a membership that's purely focused? And that's a transition in of itself, dude, because so many people think, okay, the MRR play, all right, well, I'm going to get, all I need is like 1,000 people pay me $100. Oh, that's awesome, right? Now I'm making $100 grand, it's $1 million a year ARR. I can get a great value, a great multiple on that. But people forget that just because someone buys or enrolls in your membership doesn't mean they're going to stick.
Right. There's
Like
a drop off.
Man, you have to really focus on the customer.
The churn. Yeah, I just had on a guest right before you. His name was Tyson. He's a sports bettor. And his drop off is 10 to 15%, which is really high. But he said in that sports betting space, it's actually low.
Yeah, wow.
Because sports betting is so volatile. So if you have a losing week, you could have 25% of people drop off right there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How's that a business?
It's a tough business. That's why you need to focus on community, which is what you've done. You've built up the social media channels. You've built these community channels.
Yeah, look, community is key. And I think we niche down as well. We just focus on e-com. So that allows us to really speak to a certain kind of person. I know a lot of people doing, memberships that can often be quite broad. For us, we're like focusing really on the niche of e-commerce, you want to start an e-commerce business, you want to grow an e-commerce business, you can learn from us like for $99 a month.
Right.
Like it's $500 a year. It's like super cost affordable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like it's a no-brainer. We would have spent millions of dollars producing like courses, programs, building out the platform. Yeah.
And I feel like e-commerce, it's definitely hit its peak in the US, but I feel like with other countries, dropshipping is still really hot and upcoming.
Yeah, look, it depends, right? For us, believe it or not, our biggest customer base is in the US.
Really?
Yeah. Biggest
Wow.
customer, yeah.
Because I thought dropshipping kind of hit its peak a few years ago.
Oh, look, for us, when it comes to e-commerce, we don't really teach dropshipping. We teach people to build a sustainable brand.
Oh,
right?
got it.
It's like Foundr, right?
Right.
Like people teach people to build a brand. Like, yeah, that like we're more about owning the customer, owning the relationship, building something that's a scalable asset, and that dropshipping is a very hit and miss. Get rich quick. You use Facebook ads. Now, it can work. Don't get me wrong. It's maybe a great starting place for people to understand products, understand product market fit, understand media buying. But yeah, no, our whole methodology and framework is building a brand, solving a problem, not just finding some product that you can it's trending and just try day trade. Like that's not a business.
There's a lot of that on social media,
Yeah.
people teaching the get quick online stuff.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, no, look, for us at Foundr, we teach people how to actually build a long-term sustainable business. It just comes back to the kind of founders we interview, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I've interviewed, you probably were the same as me. You probably interviewed over 100 billionaires, right?
Not billionaires. You've definitely got me beat on billionaires.
Okay.
I've interviewed maybe 10.
Yeah, okay. Because I interviewed tons of super, like, well-known founders. If you don't know their company, you would know them. Like, so they're all built sustainable businesses, and that's kind of like our kind of ethos. Of like the word founder. Like, if someone's drop shipping, are they a founder? Maybe not. Have they founded a company? Maybe not. They're more an internet marketer, right? Like you're an affiliate marketer.
It definitely should be treated as like a stepping stone. I started off with drop shipping. A lot of my friends did, but they're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a great place to learn. But for us, we just kind of, our ethos is around, we interview founders, we have founders give back on our platform, and we teach people how to found a company, build a business. Yeah.
What's your process for interviewing a billionaire? How long are you prepping, and how does the interview go?
Ooh. So I have a team that helps with the pre-production. I go through, like for us now, man, when it comes to the process, we're really about the storytelling. And the more that we can get the guest to share the difficult stuff, right? Like, not enough people talk about how hard it is to build a business.
Being vulnerable.
Yes, that's the stuff we're looking for, right? So in terms of prep, I'd say I'd spend maybe an hour or two. And look, fortunately, I have a team that helps. And I'm looking for the stories. I'm looking for the uniquely interesting stories, or the stuff where you don't hear people talk about. Like, you've got an incredible network. You would hear crazy stories from founders, right? That, have been so close, losing millions, tens of millions of dollars, or times that you've almost thought about giving up. Because every single founder's gone through that, man. Like, every single founder has got to a point where they're flying so close to the sun that they might lose it all, right? But they don't. And, the question is, if you don't experience those moments, maybe you're not pushing hard enough.
You're living too comfortably, right?
Exactly, man. And that's what life's all about.
Right.
It's like making a move.
Even myself now, when I go through couple month periods where I'm like, things are too easy right now. Let me go public speak at an event or something, put myself in an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah, dude, you have to.
You got to always be challenging yourself.
Well, look, when you get into reaching interviewing someone's a billionaire or multi-millionaire, they've built something of true worth and significance. And to get there, you just have to have times of adversity, right? You have to have battle scars. And that's what I want to hear. That's what we want to share. But if you don't do enough research, how are you going to know? How are you going to pull that out? Because generally, people aren't that vulnerable, right?
No.
It depends on the person. But you do all the interviews all the time, man. Usually people are surface level, right? You
For
really
sure,
gotta
especially
push.
a billionaire. They've been PR trained. You know, they're taught to kind of suppress emotions for the most part in that level of business.
Yeah, man, you really have to push.
Yeah.
Right? You have to ask. You have to warm them up. It's not that easy.
Yeah. Damon was a good interview.
Yeah.
He got vulnerable when I interviewed him. Yeah. Shout out to Damon John.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he was a good interview. I've had some challenging ones for sure, but those always make me a better host.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when they're so closed off, it's like, okay, maybe I could have done better, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, look, it's an interesting one. Sometimes you find because I do heaps of interviews too, done it for a long time, right? Sometimes you find, is it the guest that carries the show or is it you that carries the show?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's your job as the host to really try and push and get the most out of that person. And then also know your audience too, is what's going to be interesting for them.
Right.
Yeah.
You do well with the fact that, because a lot of people can't relate to billionaires, but you do well with humanizing them, you know, providing stories that people can relate to about them. Because sometimes they're so detached from the ordinary person.
Yeah, 100%. But at the end of the day, man, like billionaires, they're still a human being. They're still they still have the same challenges that everybody has. They've just, for the most part, surrounded themselves with incredible people, right? Like businesses are built by people. Like billionaires, like doesn't matter how smart you are, you have to have an incredible group of people around you, and you have to be willing to have difficult conversations to move on those people as well, and like move people around. Like you have to be good with people, but you have to have great people around you. But when you look at a billionaire, there's so many people behind them that has allowed them to get there, right? And it's your job as the founder to find and identify and lead those people, right? It is so key. It's not a sexy thing people talk about when it comes to building a business, but he's like absolutely everything, man.
Yeah.
Right? Like I just met John. He seems like a really smart, super savvy dude that works with you, right? Like how'd you meet John?
We just met last week. My friend told me he just moved here and was looking for a job.
There you go. Right? Like, it's crazy, right? But there was something that you identified.
I saw his struggle. He grew up in a rough environment, and I actually like that because that builds character.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're spoon-fed too much, it's hard to really come out of that shell.
100%. So he's hungry.
He's hungry. I could sense it off him.
Exactly, right?
Like he's doing stuff I'm not even telling him to do.
How good's that?
It's amazing.
It gives you leverage.
I woke up to 2 Google Docs full of all this useful information this morning.
See, that's what I'm saying. So like you look at a billionaire, right? It's easy to look at that person and go, oh, wow, they're so incredible. And it is incredible what they've been able to build, right? But they're no different to you or I, right? They're no smarter than you or I. They've had a ton of luck, right? They've worked so hard. There's been so many times where they've flown close to the sun, right? And they've got this ability to find great people to work with them.
100%.
Like that's so key, man.
I've seen Cuban talk about the luck stuff.
Yeah.
Because he says himself, he had a lot of luck to become a billionaire, the timing of his companies and everything. And I know you've interviewed him too.
Yeah, but man, businesses are built by people. It seems so simple, but so easy to forget. Everyone's looking for like the next tactic or hack or, TikTok shop or like whatever it is, right? But the biggest hack I believe in business is just finding exceptional people and just like finding a way to keep them motivated, to keep working with you, and finding out what they want, and how can you align that with your business goals, and just building a great company and culture where it's just like you said, like how cool is it that John's thinking? Right, like that gives you so much leverage. Right?
Yep.
How can you find great people? You can just let them go, right? And they go off and they build a part of your company for you. That's what you want, man.
Absolutely.
It's not easy to find.
Not easy. Most people want to follow instructions, do the bare minimum work, check out early.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's easy to do that,
Exactly.
As someone on a payroll job, why would I spend more time on something I don't have to?
Exactly.
So I get the mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
But entrepreneur mindset's kind of the opposite.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the difference there.
Yeah.
But incentivizing employees, that's where I'm trying to figure out,
Yeah.
because I'm not a fan of salaries, dude. I feel like people will do the bare minimum just to collect the salary. And I get that. That's what I would do if I was in that position. So I need to think of better ways to incentivize people.
Yeah, well, look, it depends, right? It depends what your goals are, right? Show me the incentive, I'll show you the outcome. So how can you align your goals with the show, with this podcast, with this business to, where you want to go, where perhaps your team members want to go? How can you align that, and how can you give them KPIs that recognizes and incentivizes and rewards what you're going after? But from my experience, look, it depends on the quality of the person, but good people know their worth too, right? They know their worth, and if they're commercially savvy enough, when you get to a certain level of talent that you're looking for, if they're commercially savvy enough to be in the position they're in, then they know their worth, and it's hard to get people to work off just perhaps a commission only.
Right.
It depends. It's a great test. It shows how hungry somebody is, but oftentimes, people that are super savvy commercial that can build businesses, and they typically build other people's businesses, they know their worth in the marketplace.
Absolutely. Where have you been sourcing your top talent?
Ooh, look, we've used recruiters in the past, but I find one of the best ways is through the network, like my network or my team's network, friends. All the most game-changing hires that I've made, majority of them have been through my network.
A warm referral.
Yeah, 100%. It's really tough for job boards and finding people that way, I've found.
Yeah, it's a needle in a haystack, right?
Yeah, 100%, because oftentimes why people are looking at a job board, A players, they don't, A players don't have to look for a job. People keep finding them.
It's like dating apps. It's like the hottest girls aren't on the apps. They don't need to be on the dating apps.
Correct, 100%.
Yeah.
That's right. It's the same thing. You want to find A players, oftentimes, A players don't have to look for a job, man. Their next job finds them.
That makes sense, because if you're that good, people are going to be approaching you.
Correct. And that's what I was saying before. If you're that good, you're commercially savvy, you know your worth, right? So you take a certain kind of deal to not have base, but you can structure maximum upside on both sides, right?
Yeah.
And minimizing downside. There's always different ways to structure things.
Yeah, that makes sense. Warm referrals. So I have a WhatsApp chat of all the previous podcast guests.
John's just going to add me. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, but like you were saying, a lot of people post their friends looking for a job in there, and they're a great person, and they get hired within a few hours.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
there you go.
I definitely agree. A warm intro, because the trust is there. You trust this person. They've worked with them in the past. They produce these results. Yeah, I'll hire you.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, right, sometimes with recruiters, what's cool, there's pros and cons. People don't necessarily always like recruiters. But the pro is there's a lot of work in finding that high quality person. And it would be powerful for me as the founder, tap someone on the shoulder through LinkedIn, but you've got to sift, you've got to look through it all. And then, the recruiter, they're headhunting, they're looking for somebody that's done it before. That's the key as well. I've always heard that Jeff Bezos, when he goes to enter a new market, he poaches the top executives from that market.
Wow.
For the top executives at the competitor, he poaches them in that market and then plugs them into his entry business, right? And there's a lesson in that, right? How much easier is it for someone to succeed in your business if they've already done it before, right? How cool would it be if you got Joe Rogan's producer,
Jamie?
You got one or many of his producers to come work for you. How much faster are you going to grow?
It's way faster.
Exactly, and that's the key, right? How can you find people that have done it before? How can you find somebody that has seen the movie? They've seen the movie before. Biggest hack, man.
Yeah, it reminds me of Dan Martell buying your time back.
Yeah.
Because you're hiring these people that have spent X amount of years for a new venture. So you're saving all those years.
Yeah, man, he's a super smart guy. He's blowing up right now.
Oh, yeah. And that's where content comes into play, which you were early on content. I remember seeing your content when I was just becoming an entrepreneur in college 8-9 years ago.
Yeah, there you go.
What gave you that conviction so early on to get into content?
Ooh. Well, look, I bootstrapped Foundr, never raised any money, and I found that it was really powerful how you could take one piece of content and turn it into like 30 pieces of content. And I'm a big fan of leverage. So that's what I used to do, man. Like I started with the magazine, right? Digital magazine, started interviewing successful founders, sharing their stories. And then what I realized is like, well, I could have way more distribution if I took this interview and turned it into a podcast, turned it into clips, turned it into an article, turned it into a newsletter, turned it into a tweet, turned it into an Instagram quote, like 101 things. You just get more distribution. You sweat the asset more, right? Because every single interview that you're doing, that's an asset where the content goes out, and it's like you're planting a seed. Like I'm sure, and we see this, like you would have some guests that do really, really well that are super viral, but it's probably only a small percentage, right? But you're planting all these different assets out there. And some will hit, some will miss, but eventually you'll find some that work and that amplifies your distribution and amplifies your reach, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of worked it out. I was like, okay, well, how can I just leverage that interview? And I knew as well that there's so much power in having a magazine, dude. So much power, so much influence.
Everyone wants to be on the cover of a magazine.
Exactly. But then also, for whatever reason, when you have these super successful people on the front covers of your magazine, it builds trust by association. And that's what's built the brand. Trust by association. These guys are effectively ambassadors for our brand. So then people know the brand. It's a great name too.
Great name.
Founder without the E. Like we own the word founder, and that's synonymous amongst entrepreneurship with the E or without the E. Do you listen to Foundr? Do you read Foundr? Do you watch Foundr? Are you a member of Foundr? Like, yeah.
Such a simple name that it's like perfect, right?
Yeah, but dude, here's a good story. You want a story? So when I first started Foundr, I was sued for trademark infringement.
Really?
First 3 months of starting.
Someone trademarked it?
So it wasn't called Foundr. So the magazine was originally called Key to Success. And I had Neil Patel on the front cover on, I think it was the 3rd edition. And we had the Success logo and then Key to in the middle. But we had Neil Patel on the front cover and he covered the Key to. So you can guess who sued us. And dude, I was working in my day job. Had like no money whatsoever. This was like a little side hobby. Didn't know I was going to go like be found to be where it is, right? And I get this letter in the mail, FedEx package from Success magazine that they're suing me for trademark infringement. And like, dude, I didn't have the money, right? Like I know I was scared. Like your first business, imagine your first business, the first 3 months, you get served a FedEx package by this big company in the United States that you need to appear in Dallas, Texas.
Jeez.
And yeah, man, I just changed the name, sorted all that out by changing the name, and I called it Foundr.
Wow.
And it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
So that lawsuit helped you.
Yeah, dude, that was a blessing in disguise.
Wow.
Because, man, like I would have had this name, Key to Success. It's a pretty name.
It's not as good as Foundr.
No. I love one-word names. Like you think of all the top brands, like all the well-known brands, very, very rarely they're multiple words. Usually always one word.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Away suitcases, Google, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Snapchat's maybe, but Snap. Like, most brands are one word. Ideally, no more than 5 letters. Yeah.
I wonder if there's some psychological thing to that.
Not sure. I don't know, man. I think it's just cool.
Yeah. It just flows well.
You know what I mean?
Like, why would you want to say a long word?
Yeah. But yeah, it just seems that way. Like Gucci, Chanel, like you know what I mean? Like I don't know why, but what do all these names mean? Like that's the thing as well.
Right.
Just random names and they've become that brand because it's been built.
What did you think of Facebook and Twitter changing their names?
Oh, look, I'm no branding expert, man, but like for some reason, look, the Facebook one, it's still branded like Facebook. It's not Meta. Like when you log in, you don't go to meta.com, right? Like so it's just the parent, you know. So I think Facebook was less of a bigger deal. When Twitter changed to X, I personally thought it wasn't the smartest move because there's just so much brand recognition built in Twitter. Like X is cool though, but it's just going to take a lot of work to build it back up. But everyone knows the platform anyways. But I don't know why they needed to.
Yeah,
Did they need to?
They kind of just followed Facebook's suit. I feel like the timing was weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I've heard that Elon Musk always owned that domain.
Oh, X.com.
Yeah, apparently he's owned it for a long time.
Maybe he just wanted to find a use.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what that was. But look, that guy's so smart. Like, he's making so many moves so far ahead of the curve. Who knows?
Is he a dream interview for you?
Yeah,
he's on my list too.
Yeah, for sure.
I made a manifestation list when I started the podcast. I'm sure you did something similar, right?
That's so cool, dude.
Yeah.
You got to do that, man.
I've been crossing off names every month.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You got to do that. There's something special about that. I did that too, and I made a top 50 list, and I've gone through most of them. Yeah, the well-known founders I haven't interviewed is Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk.
And they're all within reach.
Yeah.
Because you're able to leverage all your prior guests now. So
100%.
You're 1 degree away from them probably.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we will get there eventually.
Yeah, that's how I see the podcast too. You're just building up such a massive community. Yeah. Now I'm like 1 or 2 degrees away from anyone I want, which is insane.
Yeah, look, there's something very, very special doing it in person. I'm based in Australia. I have to do a lot of them remotely. When you can do them in person, I think it's so much stronger for building network, building relationship,
100%,
building rapport, being able to connect with that person on a deeper level. I think, that's there. There's a lot of magic to that.
Yeah, you get a glimpse into their life because you could see their office, you could see what they're doing on a daily basis. You meet their team. It's just way better. I've only done 1 virtual one or maybe 2, and because they were banned from the U.S.
Yep. Okay. Wow.
So I couldn't do it here.
Well, who's that?
It was this guy named Santos Bonacci.
Yep.
And then there was another guy. He just recently passed away.
Oh.
But his name was Tom Palladino.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah. But I'm like, even with Andrew Tate, because I'm interviewing him, I'm going to fly to Romania.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That would be a fun adventure.
Because it's way better. Yeah, it'll be awesome. But him over Zoom, it just wouldn't hit the same.
There you go. I've seen anybody that interviews him, his interviews really pop off.
Yeah, guaranteed 1 million views pretty much.
Yeah, wow. There you go.
Certain people are just like that. They got a really captivating audience.
Yeah.
And I've been studying all the top content creators, and a lot of what I'm noticing is the delivery of the message. The editing plays a big role, of course, but if they're just confident with the delivery, borderline arrogant, that's like a formula to go viral. Because I've had on 1,000 guests now, and I see which ones go viral.
Yeah, well, it's the conviction in what they're communicating.
Right. Yeah, because Grant Cardone, there's a ton of billionaires, but his conviction is just so powerful. He goes viral every time.
It's also look how controversial. Like I've seen some of your clips, and you know, like the guy that's drinking his own urine and stuff. like dude, that's hardcore, man. And then he's put it on his face and stuff. Like man. People are going to share that. You know what I mean? For good, bad, or otherwise, right? Like I'm not here to throw shade, but that was out there, right? Like, you don't see that in your regular feed.
No,
you know what I mean?
I think I might have been the first to break that one.
Yeah. But you know what I mean, right? You're laughing now, right? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know you were going to bring up that one. That's a funny one though.
It's crazy. Like I saw that clip. So yeah, I don't know how much conviction that guy had to have, bro. But like that's just wild.
Yeah. There's that line in social media where how degenerate do you want to be for views, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to base my whole brand off that.
Yeah.
Because that's a never-ending loop, and then you go crazy. Yeah. If you're just relying on like doing the craziest things you could think of.
Yeah. But look, it's all about the hook.
The hook. For sure. Yeah, the hook is the first 3 seconds. If it's not interesting, I'm gone.
Yeah, and TikTok trained that into people now.
Yep. Right? YouTube views are down. I'm talking to so many YouTubers. They're down like 60%.
Really?
On average.
Really?
Because shorts are just destroying attention spans, man. Have you noticed a dip in your podcast listeners?
Yeah, we noticed a dip, but only because of some Apple changes and stuff like that. Did you see that?
Yeah, I'm down on audio, but even like just the YouTube long form is down too. Yours aren't down?
Oh, we've been on a journey with YouTube, man. Journey going up and down, up and down. Yeah.
Well, it's saturated now too.
Yeah, it's a hard platform to conquer. We're starting to work it out now, but
It's
going again.
Honestly the hardest because you could go viral on Instagram and TikTok with no followers.
Yeah, 100%.
But YouTube, I don't see it that often.
It's tough. It's tough. There's a lot of interview shows now as well.
Yeah, tons of shows. I mean, when I look at the charts, because I study all the top shows, it's just like new shows constantly are in the charts.
Yeah.
Like the Hawk Tour girl is in the top 5 right now. She just started last week.
Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy.
Crazy, right? Did that make its way to Australia, that video?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
wow,
dude,
so she
everywhere.
She was a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah, dude, Australian subculture is very similar to the US. Like we're always dialed in on what you guys.
I figured that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that a lot about like countries that kind of follow our lead. So Canada, United Kingdom, Australia.
Yep.
They see what's going on here, and then they'll a couple months later it'll trend over there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. You think you'd ever get a second spot out here in the U.S. for business?
We had an office in New York.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we had an office and a studio, and then I shut it down over COVID.
Oh yeah, it was
because we
way
weren't
too
using
expensive.
it. Yeah, well, we weren't using it because lockdowns were crazy.
Oh, they were bad.
Yeah, and then look, we'll get it back up and going eventually.
Nice. That'd be cool to have like a. I actually am looking for a studio in New York.
Yeah,
I got to film with a couple people out there. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So, yeah, you're going to base out of there.
Well, I film once a month in a new city now because not everyone comes to Vegas.
Yeah.
So I've been filming a lot in LA, Texas, Miami. Those are like hot cities, but it's been hard to find a spot in New York to film at. Surprisingly, I filmed with Ryan Serhant, but I had to go to his office. But I can't really find a good studio out there.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Look, for us, we went to a place called, what was it called? I forget now off the top of my head, but it was a decent space, and you just build it out yourself.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you have to build it out yourself.
Okay.
Like it was like a warehouse space.
Cool, yeah. Just send me the link after this.
Yeah, Industry City.
Industry City.
It was in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, okay.
Yeah, we're in Brooklyn.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, Industry City. It was really cool.
Yeah?
Yeah, and then you can just customize the space.
Yeah, there's a lot of good guys in New York I want to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary Vee's out there. I think Barstool Sports, they got some guys out there. And a lot of Yankees and Knicks players, so. Yeah, that's the good thing about the U.S., man. You could go to any city, any major city, and get like 10 interviews in.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you'll never run out of people here. I mean, like I was telling you off camera, I filmed 1,200 interviews in 2 years.
That's insane.
In the U.S., yeah. I'm catching up to you, man.
Yeah, I know, dude.
How many have you done?
Dude, I think I've just tipped over 1,000.
Yeah, you got to be up there.
I think, yeah.
Because you've been doing 10 years, so.
Yeah.
That's a lot, man. Well, it's been an honor. It's finally great to meet you in person, man. We've been talking for a while. Where can people find out about Foundr Plus and what else you have coming on?
Yeah, you just go to foundr.com. Foundr.com. If you want to learn how to start or grow an e-commerce business, or we'd love to support you on the journey. We put out a lot of content around business and entrepreneurship.
Perfect. We'll link it below. Thanks for coming on, Nathan.
Welcome.
Thanks for watching, guys. As always, check out the links below. See you next time.